Hello, viewers around the globe. This is Dr. Afshan Hashmi, live from her studio in Maryland, USA. And today, friends, I will be talking about someone who when I opened the Facebook, I got this news and I am very saddened by this news. And it says, my friend of 60 years, class fellow colleague, and family friend Abu Qamar left us at 3 a.m. today, a tragic loss. So this is the news here, and I got it from one of my uncles in my original city in AMU, and that is Aligarh Muslim University. And Abu Qamar uncle was a colleague of my parents, and I wanted to give him a tribute, and that's what I am doing today. And my mom used to work in JNMC Medical College, which is Jawaharlal Nehru Medical College, and she was in charge of extracurricular activities, and Abu Qamar uncle used to assist him in that. So I have vivid memories of Abu Qamar uncle, which I will be talking about some of it which I remember. And before going there, I want to remind you that please go and buy these two books, The Modern Mughal Mentality. This first book, and this is about Jugaad, and it is called The Modern Mughal Mentality, New Strategies to Succeed in India and the Global Marketplace. And this one is The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection. If you want me to continue with these broadcasts, I need sponsorships for my this show, as well as for my W4WN and Talk4 TV, as well as for my K4HD radio and Talk4 TV. And this broadcast is given to more than 300 million listeners. It is distributed by the same company, and Talk4 Media, and it is distributed worldwide to more than 300 million listeners. So if you give me a sponsorship, you will be very popular, and your product will be very Having said that, friends, I'm very disturbed today that I got this news in the morning, and I was thinking what to say about him. But I whatever I will say, I don't write anything, I just speak extempore. So Abu Qamar uncle, like, I have seen him since childhood, and he was not only a very good doctor, medical doctor, but also my mom's colleague, and my mom used to teach at medical college, Jawaharlal Nehru Medical College. And I don't know what happened to him, but there are so many teachers who have died because of COVID-19 in Jawaharlal Nehru Medical College, and in this COVID era. And so I want to remember Abu Qamar uncle the way, like, he used to do lot of dramas and plays in Jawaharlal Nehru Medical College, which would be staged also in Kennedy House. And my mom used to be active part of it, and I was a child at that time, and I just used to watch. And my mom was instructor in biochemistry department, and she was not a medical doctor, but all her, like, Abu Qamar uncle was a medical doctor, and my mom was she studied in Aligarh Muslim University as well as in United States of America. So having said that, friends, let's remember Abu Qamar uncle. And the first thing I would like to tell you some plays, like, once, Abu Qamar uncle, there were so many rehearsals of the play of, like, there was and I used to watch those plays, and one of the plays was of ghost and all, and I was very afraid of that. But I watched it, and the way they played it. And then my mom used to, had these were very talented doctors, very smooth talkers, and if you would talk to them, all of a sudden, half of your, like, you would start feeling very good. And Abu Qamar uncle did a play, like, of ghost and all, and many other plays. And then there was a dance in which he directed along with my mom, and it was about something related to the Thai dance, and it was way when I was in childhood. Just think how Jawaharlal Nehru Medical College was progressive, and now when I see the condition of Jawaharlal Nehru Medical College in AMU Aligarh, that how it's deteriorating and how many people have died. It's like it's like so bad that I cannot even express what my feelings are. And having said that, I just got like a paper from I did a medical search, and I got a paper on COVID-19, and I would little bit read from that paper, so that people are, if they want, they can go to uh, and this is a review paper. And I was doing some search on COVID, and I got this paper, Biological Warfare, Bioterrorism, and Biocrime. So this is the paper here, and it is of Grobush et al. And it came in, and it's a review paper, and it came in. Let me see the journal. And the author is MP, like the main corresponding author is MP Grobosch, Center of Tropical Medicine and Travel Medicine, Academic Medical Center, University of Amsterdam. So it says little bit abstract. Biological weapons achieve their internal target effects through the infectivity of disease causing infectious agents. The ability to use biological agents in warfare is prohibited by the Biological and Toxin Weapon Convention. Bioterrorism is defined as the deliberate release of viruses, bacteria, or other agents used to cause illness or death in people. So you can go ahead and read this paper. This is a very good review paper to have more knowledge about biological warfare, bioterrorism, and biocrime. And I wrote this book when there was no trace of coronavirus, and it says in a very unique story about bioterrorism. So if you can buy this book, it would be great, because this book educates you in bioterrorism. And now my mission is to teach people bioterrorism, and I'm still debating what my next book will be. And I have some ideas, but I won't disclose it until and unless the book comes. So having said that, friends, now let me see what CDC has to say about coronavirus, because it's a tribute to Abu Qamar uncle. He was a very, very good doctor, and I am sure he must be taking all the precautions and everything. But has spread like wildfire in my original city, Aligarh. And before going there, I would play Aligarh Tarana, because I have sung Aligarh Tarana with Abu Qamar uncle, and I remember him for that. So let me play Aligarh Tarana first and remember him that way. And it is from the university team. So this was the AMU Tarana, and I have sung AMU Tarana with Abu Qamar uncle in my childhood, and I am so distressed by that news that what to say. This COVID, if he had COVID, I don't know, but COVID is taking away like Aligarh Muslim University will not be same about these legendary teachers. They were not only very good teachers, but they were also very good, in extracurricular activities. And all the students of Aligarh Muslim University, I want to address you from this forum and say that you should be in the steps of legendary teachers like Abu Qamar uncle, Dr. Shuaib Zahir, my parents Abdul Majid Siddiqui, and my mom Mrs. Jamila Siddiqui, and then there was Sarah auntie, who was the founder of one of the founding principals of Abdullah College. And there are host of legendary teachers, and I just don't know what to say. That and I offer my heartfelt condolences to his family, as well as to his children, his family, and his children. And I haven't met Auntie for a long time because I live in United States. But Auntie, I want to tell you that I am with you in this tragedy, and don't know what to say. Abu Qamar uncle, if you are listening in heaven, I love you and I want to give you a flying kiss. And having said that, friends, now let me do another song, which because he was so good at Aligarh thing. So this one was where he was present, and my brother was the chief guest, and my mom was alive then. So, and I want to give flying kiss to my mom, dad, grandpa Alim, and all my relatives in heaven, and because they have served Aligarh Muslim University for generations, and my heart is bleeding. So, and this is for all of you, and especially Abu Qamar uncle, because he was present in this function.
है अलीगढ़ रूह सैयद इल्म फन के गुलसिता है अलीगढ़ है अलीगढ़ रूह सैयद इल्म फन के गुलसिता हम तेरे ही फूल हैं और तेरी ही हम बागबान चल दिया है इस चमन से अब खिजा का कारवां चल दिया है इस चमन से अब खिजा का कारवां यहाँ की तकबीरो वज़ा से कांपता है आसमां है अलीगढ़ है अलीगढ़ रूह सैयद इल्म फन के गुलसिता है अलीगढ़ जीनते फन ख्वाब सर हिंद की दीवार पर सबसे हंसी तस्वीर तू अरब अफ्रीका ईरान तक की है तनवीर तू मिल्कियत हर मुल्क की हर कौम की जागीर तू मिल्कियत हर मुल्क की हर कौम की जागीर तू है अलीगढ़ है अलीगढ़ रूह सैयद इल्म फन के गुलसिता है अलीगढ़ खामोशियाँ आज भी दोहराई जाती है पुरानी दास्तां। है अलीगढ़, है अलीगढ़, रूह सैयद इल्म फन के गुलसितां। है अलीगढ़। उस जमाने में यहाँ जितने हॉल्स होते थे हमारे जमाने में, उनके नाम भी इसमें शामिल थे। ये विकारुल मुल्क हाथी आफताबों की तरह, गौस मसूद सुलेमान है रंगीन ख्वाबों की तरह। नायडो अब्दुल्ला महके ये गुलाबों की तरह, सैयदो मोहसिन हबीब है महताबों की तरह। सरजियाउद्दीन है इसके मीनारों की तरह, जिनमें तालिब इल्म रहते हैं किताबों की तरह, जिनमें तालिब इल्म रहते हैं किताबों की तरह। है अलीगढ़, है अलीगढ़, रूह सैयद इल्म फन के गुलसितां। है अलीगढ़। इसका आखिरी आखिरी बंद है, इसमें कुछ शुरा के जिक्र हमारे। ये मजाजो हाली हसरत जोशो जज्बी का वतन, आज भी जिंदा शकीलो शिबली की बज़ में सुखन। इस वतन का रंग परचम तीन रंगों का मिलन, इस वतन का रंग परचम तीन रंगों का मिलन। रंग खून, रंगे अमन और सब्ज इस्लामी चमन। रंग खून, रंगे अमन और सब्ज इस्लामी चमन। है अलीगढ़, है अलीगढ़, रूह सैयद इल्म फन के गुलसितां। हम तेरे ही फूल हैं और तेरे ही हम बागबान। चल दिया है इस चमन से अब खिज़ां का कारवां, चल दिया है इस चमन से अब खिज़ां का कारवां। यहाँ की तकबीरो अज़ां से कांपता है आसमां। है अलीगढ़ जिंदाबाद, रूह सैयद जिंदाबाद, जिंदाबाद। थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू। हेलो।
So this was a ghazal on Aligarh sung by Aslam Bhai, and Aslam Bhai and Abu Qamar uncle were very active in extracurricular activity. And when my mom was in charge of medical college extracurricular activity, I have seen them singing together. So that's why I included this ghazal in that. And Abu Qamar uncle was like very much into mushaira and all that, and my mom and dad were also into mushaira, especially my mom. So from this book, I will read something in their remembrance, you know. And Ghalib, Asadullah Khan Ghalib. I don't know whether I want to read little bit about Asadullah Khan Ghalib, 1797 to 1869, and why I'm reading this is because Abu Qamar uncle and my mom loved Mushaira, and my dad also loved Mushaira. I was not into Mushaira or anything, but you know, in their remembrance, I am going to read and tell you my Western friends that who Asadullah Khan Ghalib was. Asadullah Khan Ghalib 1797 to 1869. Mirza Asadullah Khan Ghalib was born at Agra, the city of the Taj, in December 1797. His father and his grandfather had been soldiers by profession and strangers to the art of poetry. In one of his couplets, Ghalib alludes to his breaking away from family's military tradition. But Ghalib had an inborn talent for poetry which he displayed even in boyhood. His early poetry is fanciful and obscure, modeled on the style of Bedil, a 17th century Persian poet. When as a child Ghalib was taken to Mir Taqi Mir for the latter's advice and blessings, the older poet is said to have remarked, if the boy gets an able mentor, he'll become a good poet. So I'm reading it from here. And this is masterpieces of Urdu ghazals from the 17th to the 20th century by K.C. Kanda. And I got this book from India. So now let me read this in English. Asadullah Khan Ghalib, to have met my friend was not my fate. A longer life I have entailed a longer wait. Did I trust your word indeed? So this side is in Urdu and this side is in English. So I'm reading the translation. A longer life have entailed a longer wait, and this is written by Ghalib, and it is translated in English. Did I trust your word indeed? What a wrong belief! I sure had died of joy had I believed it true. My heart alone could tell about your half-drawn arrow. Could it leave a sting behind? Had it pierced the marrow? What use is friendship which cannot but advise? Oh, for a friend to physics my sorrow, to heal my heart. Mortifying is sorrow, no doubt, but how can one escape? If not to pangs of love, we are to pangs of living a prey. Calamitous is the night of severance, terrible beyond words. I had died with pleasure, had I to die but once. Why didn't I drown in a river ere this disgrace? There couldn't have been a funeral, there wouldn't be a grave. So now I will do the what Ghalib said in Urdu. ये न थी हमारी किस्मत के विसाले यार होता, अगर और जीते रहते यही इंतज़ार होता। तेरे वादे पर जिए हम तो ये जान झूठ जाना कि खुशी से मर न जाते अगर एतबार होता। कोई मेरे दिल से पूछे तेरे तीरे नीम काश को, ये ख़ालिश कहाँ से होती जो जिगर के पहर होता। ये कहाँ की दोस्ती है कि बने हैं दोस्त नसीहा, कोई चेहरा साज होता, कोई गम गुसार होता। गम अगरचे जान गुस्ल है पे कहाँ बच्चन के दिल है, गमे इश्क घर न होता, गमे रोज़गार होता। कहीं किससे मैंने क्या है शबे गम बुरी बला है, मुझे क्या बुरा था मरना अगर एक बार होता। होए मार के हम जो रुसवा हुए, क्यों ना घर के घरे दरिया, ना कभी जनाजा उठा, नो कभी मज़ार होता। So this is especially a very famous Ghalib ghazal, and I dedicate this today to all the departed souls in heaven due to COVID, and especially my family and Shuaib and Abu Qamar uncle. So now let me read from Momin Khan Momin, another poet, and it says, people have stormed me with accusations without a cause, without provocation. Let me read little bit about Momin so that my Western friends know who he was. Momin Khan Momin 1801 to 1852. Momin Khan Momin is one of the three great poets of Delhi, the other two being Ghalib and Zauq, whose poetry enlivened the hopes and hearts of people in the dying days of the Mughal Empire. It is now generally accepted that Momin ranks higher than Zauq but lower than Ghalib as a poet. Momin's central theme is love, love real and earthy, of which he had rich personal experience, for he is said to had a number of love affairs with a succession of women. Momin was a tall, handsome, fair-complexioned youth belonging to respectable family of physicians, Unani Hakims. He was in fact a physician in his own right, though not as well known as his father or uncle. His interests included, besides poetry and medicine, astrology, chess playing, and music. So let me read now from a moment, and here it is. People have charmed me with he used to write in Urdu, but this is the English translation. People have charmed me with accusations without a cause, without provocation. Everywhere they have spread stories of our furtive meets. When was the longing to meet fulfilled? Folks are fabricating tales. They didn't let my suit succeed and press their own claims instead. Hearing rumors of our love, they have robbed us of our wits. How did the people quite unasked divulge my secrets to my love? How strange we are made to see the scenes we never saw before. Moment they have strangled my love. What alas have the people done? And now let me read the Urdu thing. मुझ पे तूफान उठाए लोगों ने मुफ्त बैठे बिठाए लोगों ने कर दिया अपने आने जाने के तस्कारे जाए जाए लोगों ने वसाल की बात कब बन आई थी दिल से दफ्तर बनाए लोगों ने बात अपनी वहाँ न जमने दी अपने नक्श जमाए लोगों ने सुन सुन के उड़ती सी अपनी चाहत की दोनों के होश उड़ाए लोगों ने बिन कहे राज़े पिन्हाई यूं कौन कर सुनाए लोगों ने क्या तमाशा है जो न देखे थे वो तमाशे देखे लोगों ने कर दिया मोमिन उस सनम को खफा क्या किया है लोगों ने. So this was Momin, and I just wanted to read and remember Abu Qamar uncle, because he was not only a very good teacher but also very active in extracurricular activity, and he gave boost to extracurricular activities of Aligarh Muslim University. And I remember my mom and dad and all my relatives in heaven, and especially my younger brother Faizi, who was an autistic child, and Abu Qamar uncle and all used to come and ask about Faizi, and Faizi used to meet them, and Faizi is also no more with me. And Faizi, if you are listening in heaven, I want to give you a flying kiss. And Faizi was a noble soul, and so were all my relatives and Abu Qamar uncle and my childhood friend Shuaib. And I still cannot comprehend, like, how will I go to Aligarh? But do I know anybody in Aligarh now? Or all my favorite uncles and aunts and all, they have left for heavenly abode, and some have moved out of Aligarh. I don't know what to say. Aligarh will not be same without them. And Aligarh is a kafiyat. Aligarh Muslim University is a kafiyat. And on remembering Aligarh Muslim University, that why it is a kafiyat, I will read from this book, because these all people were intellectuals, so to give them tribute is very difficult. So I wanted to read from this book. And this book is Aligarh Movement and the Making of Indian Muslim Mind, 1857 to 2002. The Parting Ways, 1887 to 1898. Some of, and it is here. And I got this book from India, and recently I came to know this author. I didn't know him before, but I gave a program on my other channel, K4HD Tribute to my alma mater, and then I had acquaintance with the author Tariq Hassan, who lives in Aligarh. Some of the Sayyid's critics have held him responsible for exacerbating differences between Hindus and Muslims and thereby laying the foundation for the partition of united India. Anand K. Verma, in his book Reassessing Pakistan, the role of the two nation theory writes, while on one hand he influenced Muslims to come closer to the British to seek their patronage and goodwill, on the other hand he advised them to maintain a distance from the Hindus in order to create a distinct place for themselves. Such criticism is frequently too harsh and based on unfounded allegations and half-truths. Despite his utter frustration on his failure to cement Hindu-Muslim ties, Sir Syed was always a staunch votary of Hindu-Muslim unity, and it is very important in today's India that because I have grown up in secular India, so I want India to be a secular India, and I believe in all religion, and I want like India should be a secular India, then only India can progress. Sir Syed was always a staunch votary of Hindu Muslim unity. He championed the need to preserve the Muslim identity but was never an antagonist of Hindus or Hinduism. So, this was an allegation on Sir Syed. In this context, his severest indictment of the Indian National Congress and, for the matter, Hindu nationalism is reflected is in public speeches at Lucknow and later in Meerut. Both these addresses are dealt with later in this chapter. Before we begin to unravel the mind of Sir Syed as it is manifested itself during the last few years of his life, let us begin by critically examining the criticism which he faced during those days. His critics like Lala Lajpat Rai, while lauding his role as a great social reformer, was also caustic in dubbing him as the spiritual father of Muslim separatism, describing Sir Syed's opposition to the Indian National Congress as the main barrier in the course of Indian nationalism. Lala Lajpat Rai wrote that Himalayan glacier was the late Sir Syed's opposition to the Congress on denominational grounds. I do not mean to say that Sir Syed's fears about his community were absolutely baseless, but the cry which he raised was practically the death knell of Indian nationalism at that time. Sir Syed's attitude towards Indian National Congress was influenced by the following consideration: that in India the Hindus were in a majority, and if a form of democratic government was accepted as the political goal of India, the Muslims were bound to be in a minority, that the Hindus were both economically and educationally more advanced than the Muslims and would monopolize much of government influence for a long time to come, that the Hindu Raj might possibly mean the death of Islam in India or at least a position of subservience for it. I am inclined to think that he did not believe in the possibility of Muslim domination in India either with or without the help of foreign Muslim states, and he therefore favored the idea of perpetual British rule in this country. So I don't know, I cannot say anything on this, but I would say that if Sir Syed would have not laid the foundation of Muhammadan Anglo-Oriental College, which later became Aligarh Muslim University, then today we all Muslims would be illiterate. There are so many Muslims studying there from backward places, and we were like rich people, so we could afford education. But what about Muslims who cannot afford education? Still, Aligarh Muslim University gives education in a very nominal price. So, and it is a secular university. And not only Muslims but Hindus, Christians, Sikhs, every religion studies there, and there are foreign students also. So it is a secular thing, and Sir Syed did a great job. So now, so let me read. And this is Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. And I love you, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, if you are listening in heaven because of you that we all are educated. And what, let me read little bit. I want to see if I can get one of his letters. Sir Syed. So here it is. Sir Syed pinpointed one single factor which he described as one of the main factors leading to the revolt. He writes, for Indians, the British rulers were aliens who had no idea of the history, culture, religion, and traditions of the native people. For any ruler to be effective, it is important to understand the psyche of its subject. This is only possible by involving members of the native community in the process of government. Hence, the biggest blunder committed by Her Majesty's government was not to include Indians as members of the Legislative Council. If the British had governed India with the help of a representative government, then the revolt of 1857 would perhaps not have taken place because Her Majesty would have been apprised of the sentiments and growing resentment which has been brewing in the masses even ever since the Battle of Plassey. So, this is the book if you want to read from this book, and then let me read from Study Quran in in memory of Abu Qamar uncle and all those departed souls, my parents and my grandparents and my family members who have left for their heavenly abode. So I will be reading the interpretation of the ants, and it says Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The ants, Namal. A Makkan surah, Al Namal, takes its name from the valley of the ants through which Solomon's army passes, mentioned in verses 18. The surah opens with several verses articulating common themes in the Quran regarding final judgment in the hereafter, and then turns to Moses' encounter with the fire on the mountain from which God spoke, charging him with his mission to go to Pharaoh and free the Israelites. This is followed by an account of Solomon with his miraculous host of men, jinn, and birds, and his encounter with the queen of Sheba, who eventually comes before Solomon and embraces faith in the one God. The story of the Arabian prophet Saleh and his people, the Thamud, is recounted, describing a plot devised by Saleh's people to murder him. Lot's story, including the destruction of his people for their iniquities, is told briefly. Next are several verses that challenge readers to meditate upon the nature of God and His creation. The refrain, "Is there a God alongside God?" punctuates the passage several times. The disbelievers challenge the prophet regarding the reality of bodily resurrection and the coming of the end of the world, and are then reminded that only God knows what is hidden in the heavens and on the earth and within the hearts of human beings. Verses describing how God will judge between them who differ on religious matters are followed by a section that discusses astrological realities such as the beast that will rise as one of the portents of the end of the world, the marshalling of religious communities, and the terror human beings will experience at the end of the world, the destruction of the mountains, and the consequences for those who do good and those who do evil. So, in Study Quran, you can read the interpretation of the ants al-namal. al namal. So this is there, and then I want to remember Abu Qamar uncle and my mom and some of all the colleagues had taken some students of medical college first year and second year to a picnic in Agra, and we were waiting. I was a child, and it had been 2 in the night, and my mom did not come back from the tour, and we were very worried that what happened. And then when they came, they told us there was an attack of dacoits on the journey of Taj Mahal, and when they were coming back, there were some locks put in the on their road, and the driver said someone came from the other side and said don't go, and because dacoits have attacked. But they were so courageous. They didn't have any guns or anything, but they were so courageous that they bumped on that uh, on the logs, and the driver rushed the bus so quickly that nobody could attack them. So I remember that incident related to Abu Qamar uncle, and this is not any kind of advice or anything. I'm just saying that it's a disclaimer that it is just a remembrance of Abu Qamar uncle. So never follow these kind of things to show your heroism. So this is no advice or anything. It is just an incident which I remembered, because every student of Nehru Medical College should know this, that they were not only good doctors, they were heroic people, and they were full of energy and everything. This is just an incident to quote, and I will show you some photographs in remembrance of Taj Mahal. And this is from this book, Golden India Taj Mahal, and I got it on my last trip to India. If you want to buy this book. So I just gave you an incident which I remembered of Abu Qamar uncle, because he was part of that uh, class taking that students to see Taj Mahal and Fatehpur Sikri and all those historic places. And so now, friends, I would advise you not to follow these kind of heroism acts, because you have to report to authorities if something of this sort happens. So it is no advice or anything. It is just an incident. That's what I wanted to tell you. And then let me read, because Aligarh is a Kafiyat and this is a book Kafiyat. Let me read little bit, because the departed soul loved these kind of things. Courage. You are the sun, don't hide behind the clouds. You are the moon, don't stop shining. You are a quiet, make no concessions in your poetry. You are the lightning, never stop striking. Love has not concealed defeat yet. Don't stop testing love just yet. So the English translation, and the Urdu translation is हौसला. तू तू खुर्शीद है बदलों में ना छुप, तू मेहताब है जगमगाना ना छोड़, तू शोखी है शोखी रियायत ना कर, तू बिजली है बिजली जलाना ना छोड़, अभी इश्क ने हार मानी नहीं, अभी इश्क को आजमाना ना छोड़. So this is the book. And having said that, now I will finish this broadcast with another tarana. And why I'm playing this? Because Abu Qamar uncle was an active part of AMU Drama Club, and this one is by Nasiruddin Shah, who the famous actor and who was also very active in AMU Drama Club, and he was studying when my grandpa Professor Abdul Alim was Vice Chancellor of Aligarh Muslim University. So let's play Tarana.
ये मेरा चमन है, मेरा चमन, मैं अपने चमन का बुलबुल हूँ। सरशार निगाहे नरगिस हूँ, पाबस्तरगे सुए सुंबुल हूँ। मेरा चमन, ये मेरा चमन, ये मेरा चमन है, मेरा चमन, मैं अपने चमन का बुलबुल हूँ। जो भाग हरम में रोशन है, वो शम्मा यहाँ भी जलती है। इस दश्त के गोशे गोशे से जुए हयात उबलती है। ये दश्त जुनून दीवानों का, ये बज़्म वफा परवानों की। ये दश्त जुनून दीवानों का, ये बज़्म वफा परवानों की। ये शहर तरफ रूमानों का, ये खुल्द बरी अरमानों की। फितरत ने सिखाई है हमको मुफ्तार यहाँ परवाज़ यहाँ। फितरत ने सिखाई है हमको मुफ्तार यहाँ परवाज़ यहाँ। गाए हैं वफा के गीत यहाँ, छेड़ा है जुनून का साज यहाँ। ये मेरा चमन है, मेरा चमन, मैं अपने चमन का बुलबुल हूँ। इस बज़्म में तेरी खींची है, इस बज़्म में सागर तोड़े हैं। इस बज़्म में आँख बिछाई है, इस बज़्म में दिल तक जोड़े हैं। हर शाम है शाम मिस्र यहाँ, हर शब है शब शिराज यहाँ। हर शाम है शाम मिस्र यहाँ, हर शब है शबे शिराज यहाँ है सारे जहाँ का सोज यहाँ और सारे जहाँ का साज यहाँ रात का बोसा देने को सौ बार झुका आकाश यहाँ रात का बोसा लेने को सौ बार झुका आकाश यहाँ खुद आँख से हमने देखी है बातिल की शिकस्त फाश यहाँ ये मेरा चमन ये मेरा चमन जो अब यहाँ से उठेगा वो सारी जहाँ पर बरसेगा हर चूर वहाँ पर बरसेगा हर कोब जरा पर बरसेगा हर सर को समन पर बरसेगा हर दश्त दमन पर बरसेगा खुद अपने चमन पर बरसेगा गैरों के चमन पर बरसेगा हर शहर तरफ पर गरजेगा हर फसल तरफ पर गरजेगा ये अब्र हमेशा बरसा है ये अब्र हमेशा बरसेगा ये अब्र हमेशा बरसा है ये अब्र हमेशा बरसेगा ये अब्र हमेशा बरसा है ये अब्र हमेशा बरसेगा 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 बरसेगा
So this was a tribute to uh, Abu Qamar, Dr. Abu Qamar uncle, who was a colleague of my mom in a brief way. And now, friends, I just wanted to remind you that please go and buy these two books if you want these. And because I finance these programs through the sale of my books, and if you can please go and buy this book because I am a full time author, and these books are available wherever books are sold in Kindle, in Nook, in paperback, and in audiobooks, and you will love it. And this one is about India, the first one. The modern Mughal mentality, new strategies to succeed in India and the global marketplace, and it is about Jugaad, the Hindi buzzword, which I have conceptualized in a very unique way, and I have devised a business model. And this book is of the Stanford and Harvard University standard. And then this is the outbreak of a monstrous infection. And this book came when there was no trace of coronavirus, and in a very unique story, a science fiction story, I have talked about bioterrorism. Having said that, friends, now I will say cheers. I will say cheers and bye bye and Khuda Hafiz, everyone.